Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Sabrina and I create vlog content surrounding being an artist and running a small art-based business. So at the beginning of the year, I made a whole lot of goals for 2025 to start developing my career both as an artist and as a small business. And to keep me on track with all of those goals, I made these monthly to-do lists, just a little ambitious this month. And I didn't account for the fact that I was going to be burnt out for 2.5 weeks. That's besides the point. One of the goals that I had put on there was to start applying for art shows. I wanted to apply to at least one art show by the end of the month. I did find one recently that fit really well with my artistic voice because it's all about femininity. That's the theme of the show. And I was like, I love ladies. I paint lots of ladies. But then I was like, oh no, I haven't painted a lady in quite a while. So what I'm thinking of doing for the next couple of weeks probably is starting to build up a collection of work that I can use to apply to art shows. I don't know if I'm gonna make the deadline for this one show because the deadline is in 6 days. I don't have a whole lot of experience painting people with acrylic paint. I think I've done one, and that is my kitchen witch right here. Anyways, it'll be good to have a bunch of work on hand so that when I find an art show, I can then just apply and not worry so much about a deadline or when or painting or, you know, all of this stuff. You saw last week when I did my sketchbook tour, I have this fairy in a flower, and that's one that I was thinking of doing. I did a little bit of work to kind of trying to get that sketch into Procreate and kind of changing it. That was more of like a quick sketch in my sketchbook, as well as my unfinished little tree lady here. Back in January, I think it was, I had done this sketch. I lost all motivation or inspiration to get it done. So I put it on the back burner and I'm kind of thinking of repurposing it. So as you see, there's like a whole scene in her hair. And I like that idea, but also I hate doing landscapes. It just doesn't bring me joy. I love looking at it when somebody else does it, but doing it myself, absolutely not. I think maybe that's where I'll start. If not that, then the fairy and the flower. I don't know. Now, I haven't hung out in quite a while. So let's get to sketching. All right, I've got this fairy in a flower drawn. I'm liking the way that it's looking for now. I do need to do final line art, but before I do that, I think I'm gonna color it, because sometimes during the coloring phase, you realize that something just isn't adding up. It doesn't look good. And that way too, when I do start painting, I have a really clear visual of exactly what I want it to look like. That helps a lot for me in my art in general. I do that pretty much for everything if I'm doing any kind of digital planning to begin with. For today, I think that's a wrap. You just saw me do some of the coloring work for this little fairy in a flower. I'm kind of going back and forth on whether or not I want her to be purple and then, you know, everything else. It's obviously of a sunflower. I don't know if maybe I make the sunflower more yellow rather than having those deep reds, although I really wanted to work with the deep reds. Obviously, she's not done though. I'm hoping to have a lot of detail and stuff in her wings. So if I'm adding in maybe some greens and some blues, just making her all cool toned, that'll help. I'm not sure. Honestly, I do all of this digital planning for this reason, right? Had I just gone ahead and started my painting, I would have painted the flower as close to this as possible. And then I would have started her with purple, and I don't know that the purple's even gonna work. So it kind of saves me like extra steps and confusion and stalling when I'm actually in the painting process, because I already have everything figured out. Obviously, I can't match exactly what I do on canvas to what I did digitally, but I can come close enough. And actually, I do have an example of that, which is with my kitchen witch. So, and I think I've already shown it in this video, but I'll show it again. This is what the final painting came out looking like. And this was my digital planning of that painting. So it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. Right? So it saved me a lot of trouble while I was painting, because I had something to refer back to with colors that I enjoyed. I don't want the actual painting process to be stressful. I want it to be fun and happy. I don't know if we're gonna end up getting to paint this little fairy in a flower in this video, so much apologies for that. This is probably a mad boring video, and I'm so sorry. I greatly appreciate you being here with me, even though it's freaking boring. This is all just like planning phase, and planning is never really super exciting. I mean, it's exciting for me, but I don't necessarily know that it's exciting for y'all to watch. So thank you for hanging out with me regardless. If this is something that's interesting, please let me know, because I'm feeling quite self-conscious about it. Anyways, there's not really much of anything left to say. So I'll see you next week. I hope you have a kick-ass week. Until then, yeah. All right. I love you. Goodbye.